Welcome back to the Go AI podcast, our audience members. We have a distinguished guest today. Would you mind introducing yourself, telling us who you are and who you're with?
I'm Hudson. I'm founder, CEO of The Hog.ai. The Hog stands for the head of growth, if anyone was wondering where we came up with that name. And recently just got through the YC cohort and excited to take this product to the world and share with you all.
Okay, so Hudson, not everybody knows what a cohort is. So can you explain that because it's special?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that because I was like finding an easy way to explain it to people who don't know, which is like my immigrant Asian mom. So it's kind of like the Harvard of startups. But you go through like really short sprints between like basically around 3 months from different phases of companies that get in. So you get the world-class networks of like the who's who of entrepreneurs to coach you during this like basically boot camp for startups, and they fund you. That's the crazy part. Like they fund you, they want you to succeed, and the network is super powerful. And companies come in from just an idea on a napkin to even fully funded ones because the value of this network and system is so valuable to get you to as best of a chance to succeed as a company, not just a startup. They want you to become a generational company to get through that. So you're coming from idea to learning how to pitch to fundraising to thinking about strategy, go to market, and throughout that process to build a foundation of a company. The goal after the cohort is demo day. So every cohort has their scheduled demo day to pitch to investors to get enough funding for them to get to the next phase of their company. So we ended in December. So we've been like on our own a little bit, trying to build a book company now.
Oh my goodness. So again, Connor said distinguished and you're being modest. But we were talking earlier, this is like the Harvard of startup, the kind of goal right now is don't die, like keep treading water, keep going is what we were cheering Hudson on earlier before we started the podcast. But Hudson, yeah, he's the founder of The Hog, and it's a startup specializing in predictive AI lead generation. So we know a lot of our listeners, the one question we get asked is, how can I use AI for sales, or how can I use AI to produce more leads? And so this company, the goal is to predict who may be a potential customer, right? Before completing businesses even identify that they are a customer. Is that kind of accurate, Hudson?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the goals is like building out this like basically a knowledge graph. So like we have like customer databases, so we have access to all the ones that people probably know about, like the Clay, the Apollo, Zoom infos. On top of that is what you need to use AI for is context. That's what is different now with AI, and what you can do is understanding context better versus just kind of traditional signals like, oh, a job change or someone bought a new software or this company got a funding.
The
You and
signals are way more personalized.
Exactly, because the thing is, like, everyone and their mom is using the same tech stack, right? You might think you have built like this custom super cool flow to reach out. Sorry, but you're like one out, like literally 2 million SMBs out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's literally 2 million SMBs thinking about using the same tool and tech stack. So how do you really stand out? How do you identify who fits you the best? And that's where AI is different now. That wasn't available before. It's usually a database. Now you can actually understand semantic context and behaviors a little bit more. So that's kind of how we want to position it more. And the more people use the product, the more they use the software, it gets better at learning that information for people too.
Thank you, Hudson. Something you claim in a video for The Hog is that the future of finding customers is kind of a shift away from dashboards and towards command centers with AI agents. And I love that language of the command center. So could you expand on that claim? I love it.
Yeah, I think that's like the big shift in 2025 and probably going to 26 is doing things, right? But AI is really good at getting you reports, analysis. Now this big wave, if you're following all the AI trends, is like the Claude bot, agents, Claude co-launched your coworkers. Same thing with Gemini. Anthropic just launched all their, I mean, that's Claude. OpenAI just like did a partnership with OpenClaw so you can use their agents. It's all about execution now. So that's the key. Like, how do you actually execute? Okay, you have the brain, you got this like basically co-pilot that kind of helps you strategize now. Now is to execute, right? I think that's another pain point I think AI solves from the traditional B2B SaaS world is like no one cares about consultancies. Like that, everyone used to hate consultants. Great, you gave me like a 90-page PDF on what I need to do. Now I have to still do
Now
it.
I have to go do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you can actually do it in real time and learn in real time too. That's going to be like the future of all execution going forward. The tricky part is the quality of execution. Because if you let these people run rampant, like it can potentially be detrimental. But if you think about it in the same way you think about training an employee, right? Like you're training an SDR. If you let an SDR go rogue, and just start calling, making promises out of nowhere. Like your sales team, your sales manager, like, what did you just tell this person? And you might
Yeah.
forget and stuff like that too. Imagine
Accuracy.
that if that's multiplied, you know?
Yeah. It could get bad really sour really fast.
And one of the things that follows from command centers of AI agents and having them take more and more tasks on is that humans do need to be in this management role. There needs to be that human oversight to make sure that they're, I mean, the keyword is aligned with the overall business goals. So, what do you do for something like tasks like lead generation, for instance, with AI agents? What should business owners know about managing these AI agents to get good alignment on lead generation goals?
Great question. So it depends on the type of company and business. So there's like two mindsets when it comes to lead gen. Generally, there's the quality and then there's the volume. There's certain companies that like because of the industry, like cybersecurity, right? They know that's super high touch and super personal, and these people don't like being sold to, and they only want to work with experts. So if you spray and pray them, like they know, like these guys are they're leaders in their own industry. And then there's the people who really don't care and they just spray and pray. And this is a numbers game, right? And so that you have to define your strategy there first, and then start implementing the system that really works for you. Uh, and so within lead like qualification for people, like it's kind of where you want to find them too. Like lead generation is really broad, but it's like, are you talking about just LinkedIn? Are you trying to find them at events? Are you trying to find them on Reddit, on X, on Instagram? Like
What's a lead
understanding
to you?
exactly, right? And then you can find the system and tools that will do it most efficiently for you. Because the thing is, like right now with AI and adoption, like speed and volume is no longer a bottleneck. You just got to point kind of the cannon in the right direction, or really you just miss massively.
And as far as pointing them in the right direction, where have you found some of the most success so far? Let's take, for instance, like Reddit. What have been some of like the do's and don'ts you found with AI agents and kind of sending them out into the wild, so to speak, to try to find leads?
So Reddit is I love and hate Reddit for all the same reasons because like they are aggressively monitoring and I want people to respect that too because
Yeah.
funny thing Reddit was a YC company so like we gotta hold them dear and if you deploy a lot of AI agents on there you'll just end up adding to the slop on there. So number one is don't pitch hard. Like Reddit is yeah, I would think Reddit is more of a mid to long term game where you're like trying to build trust on the authority because there's a lot of SEO value there. So if you do Reddit well, there's a lot inbound that will come through with SEO content. You build community, and that will exponentially go. So if you treat Reddit as a lead gen like you're treating LinkedIn, you're gonna fail pretty miserably and also hurt your brand reputation pretty fast. So there's a double-edged sword on that one. So I would treat Reddit as like combined play of like building your brand authority, finding out ICP, and then slowly like building like your lead gen from there. There's different ways, right? Because like Reddit profiles don't tell you I'm the CEO of like a cybersecurity company, right? So there's like a lot of context you have to like infer from that to even identify if this person is your ICP. And then it takes time to understand if that person is, and that usually is based on the content they either engage with, they post about, they write about. and then you kind of nurture, right? Like you don't want to just go spray and pray because once you do that, you're banned. You get your handle like kicked out, and then you just wasted all that energy and effort. So with Reddit specifically, to think about that in different lens, and I would urge everyone to think about like their go-to-market channel very specific to that channel.
You know, I love that, Hudson. We talk a lot about that specifically because I think that we talk a lot about it, but on the alignment side, what signals or triggers are you putting in place to make sure that it's continuously aligned? So, like, or you can just, you mentioned like the bands, not everybody maybe is as competent with Reddit. So, like, what can they check or KPIs they can look at every month to just make sure that, hey, I'm in alignment, I'm doing the right things? Do you have a checklist?
For Reddit or just in general, or
Reddit in general with the automated lead generation. And
yeah, so yeah, 100%. So you definitely want to kind of like set your kind of standards. Like every industry kind of has like open rates, click-through rates, engagement rates.
okay.
Reddit is a tricky one because like it depends if you're measuring it from like SEO first or like you're measuring it from like actual conversion standpoint. And then you have to build in like, so one of the key things that for anyone, like find out where attribution is coming from, which is super hard right now, just because like even if they came from Reddit, like you won't be, a lot of times you won't be able to automatically track it. So you kind of have to have an onboarding to do so from there. So you use that to kind of gauge it.
You mentioned this in the earlier though too, like mid funnel, bottom of the funnel, like where is Reddit? And so, I mean, somebody could learn about you, or it could just be an awareness, top of the funnel allocation of dollars and budget versus, a conversion where they're picking up the phone and like calling you. It's not the right comparison.
Yeah. And so it depends on how you want to use the channel. It's the same thing with LinkedIn, right? So if you do like thought leadership, marketing, top of the funnel, like ad marketing, or you do direct outbound sales through it too. So you will measure respectively on the type of channel and what you're using it for. Because a marketing team, a growth team will use probably LinkedIn for a lot of different things, right? They'll use it for top of branding, content, promoting content, founder-led content, and then you have the SDRs and BDRs just blasting everyone through there. Each one of those are different campaigns and should be treated differently based on
Sure.
different metrics. Yeah.
What do you see overall, like B2B, like how you're saying, I know, and that's a loaded question, but like, is there any standard across industries, even like B2B, B2C that you look at?
Right now is like the open rates for emails and like LinkedIn DMs, right? That's kind of where we wanted, why we created the hog, because like I was like there's no way that you can only blast emails and LinkedIn to find people.
Yeah.
The more powerful these tools get, the more and easier they're used. That means more and more people are using them, which means there's just more and more noise across the board, which is why everyone can feel this now. Open rates are dropping, and I hate opening LinkedIn, right? Like I know they're pitching me something at some
Yeah.
point.
There's
And
there's at least three like sponsored ads or messages in your inbox at all times.
someone's emailing you, someone's trying to connect with you, and you understand like your customers are feeling exactly the same. If you're pissed off about you being spammed, trust
Right.
me, customers are the same thing right now. So we're trying to find out how do you find ways to connect and reach people at the right time with the right messaging. So that's where like we're layering the context aspect of it more.
One of the things that I've read that you all do is implement real-time monitoring of live conversations, specifically to the end of identifying intent signals. Now, what are some of the challenges and triumphs of getting through the noise of these conversations and saying, okay, there's a good intent signal? And maybe corollary to that is what comprises a good intent signal versus maybe a dead end or false kind of intent signal.
Question. That is the hardest part about social listening. So that's kind of like the social listening intent monitoring. Because number one is there is a lot of noise, right? Like including bots, right? If we're monitoring LinkedIn, Reddit, and X to find out if someone's talking about your product or solution or the pain point that you solve for them. So how it kind of works is number one, you kind of want to identify the right keywords because that's how what kicks off a lot of social listening, like GTM engineering or like AI sales, right? But in the context of saying AI sales, someone could be a hater on AI sales, someone really likes it, AI sales for a specific market, specific industry. So the more specific the keyword, likely the more intent it will be. Like AI sales for cybersecurity in the US focusing on voice agents.
I was supposed to
It's
say
not
like search queries almost.
exactly, but it says search queries are using like basically like real-time conversation intent across the board. So number one is if you have very specific keywords, and you find that the high intent signal, however, very, very low volume across the board, because like not everyone's going to say that. They might say AI sales, you might get a lot of volume, but you might get a lot of noise. So then you have to read the context literally of the conversation. That's where the power of AI comes in. Prior to this, like softwares didn't read messaging. So then that's phase one. Phase two, then who's the author? Who wrote this, right? Is this person just pitching this because they're trying to sell the same thing you're selling, or is this person a buyer? And so that's when you have a conversation around that too. So that becomes phase two, and then there's other like, okay, relative to this company, is this company the right company and fit? Like, is this an SMB enterprise? Are they in the right demographic? Do they have the right people? Do they have the right tech stack that we fit into that ecosystem? And so you kind of started like this is kind of like I guess it's like data enrichment through like a real life signal and context to kind of understand more and more context if this is really the best fit for you. And part of that is like you have to kind of understand what your best fit is. And so then using the AI, like, okay, the more and more it trains it to fit that. And then you can actually train our AI and train our platform like, oh, this is really good and this is not. And then it'll learn to find that repetition and that pattern for you too.
I was gonna say the pattern and almost the magnetic. What you mentioned the phase one and phase two, and you mentioned some of the questions that you have to ask yourself and making sure it's a good fit. What obstacles have you experienced in taking a pause and going through those phases?
It's kind of like any really good human working. Like you basically we try to replicate like the best human researcher, right? And like the context is the tough part because like that's where like the AI is getting better as really understanding context and semantics and timing of things. Especially for the social listening side, when you're in a conversation, like someone might be complaining about something, but what are they really complaining about, right? What do they really care about? And is this
Like
the
they're
right
under the underlying root, and not everything someone says is what they do, which is also
exactly, yeah.
interesting.
So the same pain points that you as a human, like a real-time expert feels, the AI kind of feels it too. Because like they don't know more than a human will know. They just could do it faster and better than they can do all that research, but they don't know semantics better than a human.
No, that's what I was gonna say because they can't really like feel.
The crazy thing is what people don't talk about AI is that AI doesn't know the trade-offs in a human. The no's they said, they see the yeses. And which is why like the concept, oh, based on your pattern, like this is why I think this will work. But what is really more important in a human decision is all the no's they said to get to the yes. What were all the unspoken trade-offs? What were
Yeah.
all unspoken decision points? They only saw the one decision. They didn't see the 10, 15 talk tracks in your own mind or resources that you use that got there. So that's where like the pattern recognition takes place, but that's where like some of the human in loop will never go away. Like I think AI is going to automate a lot, but then
During
that's why,
those phases too, specifically.
yeah, exactly. I think like that's where like you I can mention like AI to me is like going to empower a lot of people and just make people efficient and do things, but like they're an amplification of a human tool. A lot of people are like, oh, like you can replace like the replaceable work. Yeah, like we do this all the time. Anytime a human doesn't want to do jobs, we make something else do it. It's like we're only replacing the work that we don't want to do.
Yeah, calculators and math teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And beyond just what you don't want to do, one of the things I always recommend to people with AI is think about what you currently can't do or are unable to do, whether it's like a resources thing or just a skill set thing. An example for me would be in content creation. I'm not an animator, but now I can go to Google VO and get like short animations for videos. And you mentioned earlier AI, one of the breakthroughs here in this particular lead generation is being able to read context and kind of see, okay, beyond just a keyword, is this actually a good intent signal or is it more of a dead end based on the context? Could you give other key examples of the way AI has expanded capabilities to where there was areas of like, okay, we used to not be able to do this in lead generation. Now we can with AI.
Specifically, lead generation is the speed and volume and the messaging. You just couldn't do that before. Like the systems weren't there, and then you just didn't have a way to kind of scale it out as fast as we do now, which is also probably the problem now too, because like everyone's doing it. Like
Then it's
I feel
noisy.
like every inbox is burnt, every email is burnt, and they're
We're
just
all burnout.
yeah, and everyone knows it too. Like we all feel the same way. I think now is like the phone is the next frontier. Like, people have talked about it, but like that has a lot to improve upon, and can improve upon. I don't know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting because when someone finds out they're an AI, like there's a natural response to just distrust it at that point. And I think people forget that at the end of the day, like you're still selling to emotional humans. Like for me, like if you forget that, like it doesn't matter how robust systems you have, how much money you trained your LLM. Like if you forget that you're selling to a real human at the end, they will remember. Like me too. Like I'm
Amen,
in AI.
Hudson. Yes.
I'm very lenient to AI. But if I know you've been blasting me, even if I wanted your tool or service, I'm gonna find every reason
Yeah.
to not buy you, kind of a
Yep.
thing. And it might be rational, irrational, but I'm human, so and you have to understand like other people think the same way. So if you forget to account for that aspect and lose the humanity within what we do, people will revolt against it. I'm not saying there's gonna be like a human revolution. I didn't want to use that word so painfully, but like forgetting that disconnect, like that authenticity, right? That's the part that like you can scale speed, scale volume, but are you reaching people and letting them know you actually care and that you'll take care of them as a customer? Or you're just gonna palm me off to AI for the rest of my life kind of thing. And I think that's where like businesses are trying to figure out like where that balance is.
Exactly. And that varies. It varies per industry and per business and depending on what the service or product is. Or yeah. So well, Hudson, thank you so much for your time. I know we're running out of it. In the future, I just want to leave you with one last question. What other ways do you think AI is going to bridge, other than lead generation, potential customers and businesses? Is there anything that, you're kind of banking on or betting on or thinking about?
I think what's really starting to happen is people are going to be able to really use the products a lot faster and see if it's really good value for them early on before they get committed. I think the user experience of a product and finding the right product is going to get better. I actually think that overall AI is going to make every single tool in the world better for consumers. And it's because like the barrier entry is lowering, the cost of trying it out is lowering. Then AI, people forget, AI agents are going to start recommending the best service and products to other people, right? They're not emotional and they're not incentivized to pitch stuff. They're
No.
actually going to go out there and try the solutions and let people know, like, hey, I, as an AI, tried all this stuff, read some forums and tested it out. This is what I think will work for you, kind of a thing. Uh,
Based on what I know about you.
what I know about you, what I know about the products, and me as an AI agent, unemotional, have no incentive to go pitch and try this out. We're gonna get you closer to the right fit and stuff like that. So I think like AI is gonna make companies have to be more honest about what they're gonna deliver as value to users.
Transparent. I agree, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, me too. That's why, like, for us, like, why we have like a lower entry, like, hey, try it out. We have a 30-day money back guarantee because, like, we're still building, like, we're still super early. We were just an idea 6 months ago with like two guys, and we know we have a lot to learn. So that's why, like, we're super excited to be like building a platform for that too.
Well, and Hudson, before we sign off, because hopefully our listeners will drop your information, the site, and your LinkedIn in the channel notes. But how do people get in touch with you? How do they follow along and just watch you and your partner build?
I mean, we're on LinkedIn. We should be more on X and stuff like that too.
Okay,
I'm Hudson Liao, Liao. Like, there's like two of us in the world, I think.
the handle. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and the link for the hog.ai, like the name we named it because like it was like it'd be easy to find for people.
there we go. Perfect.
All
Well,
right. Thanks so much for doing the Go AI podcast. Saying the hog, it made me realize, like, oh yeah, we're also an animal themed company here with Guardian Owl. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Animals, mascots, yeah.
yeah.
exactly.
Good.
Thank
Thanks
you,
again.
Hudson.
Yeah.
Thank you. Feel free to reach out.